Welcome back to another one of my high budget, well edited videos that I'm doing on the YouTubes. If you haven't already, like, subscribed or bought some merch because it's super comfortable. And again, as I reiterated, I'm not wearing it because most of it's in the wash because it's that comfortable. So treat yourself. Back at week 2 of prep, recovered really well from World's Natural Strongman. Given that I actually didn't do well enough to be horrendously sore. So in one case, I'm lucky. On the other case, kind of disappointed. That's given me something to work towards, which is a plus. In the interim, in 6 weeks' time, be competing at Static Monsters at the Empire Body Shop in Logan. It's going to be a red hot time. And as you may have seen if you've watched my previous video, I've set myself a goal of trying to beat my 400 kilo deadlift. Because if you were there on the day, or spoke to me straight after, there was more there in the tank and I was disappointed for selling myself short. Given that in the October previous when I qualified, 400 didn't even break the ground, so I really can't beat myself up. That's what I do, I'm good at it, I'm a redhead, it's kind of bred into me. Tonight working up to something in the vicinity of 340 kilos in the old wagon wheels for a couple of reps. If I recovered well enough from last week, it should feel better than last week's 320 in the mood lighting that I did. So let's get after it. We're up to 310 kilos on the bar. I haven't recorded the lighter sets because that's pointless. So with this set, if it moves well, we'll jump to 340 and have a play. So far so good. I haven't used a belt up until, well, this will be the first set I'm putting a belt on. Last set was the first set I put a suit on. So just slowly adding equipment as I go. And because of midget hands, I use figure 8s from the start. It's just the way it is. 310 on the bar, let's have a dip. I'm going to call that 2.5. 340 for 2.5. From memory, previous preps for this, I think I've only ever pulled singles from like 330 onwards, never reps. Oh no, I lie. Possibly I did like a 340 rep challenge to try and get a estimated 1 RM. I may have done 3 then, I can't quite remember. But normally I'm pretty good with my record keeping, and then by the time it gets this late in the year, it falls right off because I'm sick of being in the gym. But right now, I'm very motivated to be in the gym, so I'm being meticulous again. So when I was looking at all my numbers, I didn't have anything accurate from previous years. So this year's the year I get some accurate data as to how my body responds, and that I can recall upon. So tip for young players, keep a logbook. Be pedantic. Even still, next week I'll probably hit 340 again, just to try and get a 3rd rep, and I give myself permission to continue on with this rep work for another week, maybe a week or 2, pending recovery. Noting that my heavier work with an axle, because it's all about motor neuron recruitment, as opposed to just muscling it. You try and leverage or extrapolate as much out of your nervous system as possible for a big lift, because it is a partial lift, it's not a full deadlift. So a lot of it is pending recovery as to how much more I push this. I would like to get it around the 360 mark before I taper off 3 weeks out of comp. I'm hopeful I'll get it there. Getting after some heavy log press today. Well, heavy is relative. Working on some strict and some push press. Strict I'm hitting about 82.5% thereabouts of my previous max. Just taking this one reasonably slow and aiming for some good stimulus. Trained at work yesterday to finish off my Monday session. It just got to the point where I'd rather quality sleep over flogging myself, not getting good sleep and being tired and not recovering. As I've said previously, I will prioritise sleep over training these days. I'm not Superman, I am human. And I definitely feel better for it.
Other than reaching your goals, you've already hit the max.
Yeah, I'm too cool.
Yeah.
Doing those triplets is basically cardio, but it feels much better than last week. Now that that's done, moving on to some of my favourite accessories, being a heavy cable push down and some face pulling. Now the warm-up's all done, potentiation, all the good gear, feeling nice and toasty, it's fresh outside, jumper's off, so feeling warm. Moving on to floor press to start off with, just some volume, sets of 10, see where this leads me. No expectations with this, just until it starts getting difficult. Ideally not going below 8 reps, but if I hit 10, then I'll add the weight. And I'll continue to do so until I get to that point where I can't do 10. Going to be doing it close grip as well, so unlike last week where it was close grip on the deadlift bar, doing it on a power bar tonight, but again close grip because I want to try and get as much growth through my triceps as possible, because for me, for the most part, where I lag is that push with my log, working on the legs, being with all the volume, so with any luck, they won't get tired when I go to log press. I'm finding when I start doing repeated log press efforts, my quads are giving out. So there's little things that I'm working on. And then after I do my floor press, back on the strict log with some chains and just make those couple of little tweaks I was thinking about making from last week.
3, 4, set, chill, look, bragi, hang down, icing.
I may have told a small fib before. I was saying I was going to do log with chains and make those small adjustments from last week. However, reading my program that I wrote myself, because I'm a clown, I have bands on there. Bands are another form of accommodating resistance. Again, however, I find that because of the bands, they lock you into a plane of motion, as opposed to chains or weight releases or even getting a cambered bar attachment where it will swing and create some degree of instability. These almost take away all that instability that would be generated. There is some, I'm not going to deny that. For me personally, I find that when I lock out any implement that's got bands above my head, there is a degree of instability there. But having the bands in place locks you in that singular plane, so you're more likely to track straight up and down. So I apologise for telling a fib. I've got bands, not chains. Chains will be back next week where I can make those adjustments. But tonight, it's bands. Similar thing, strict press in the rack with a log. When these are brand new, they're roughly 30 to 35 pounds of tension at full stretch. Probably lucky to get 25 pounds of tension out of it. So that would make this roughly 97 kilos at the top, going off that strength curve. Log press in the rack, done and dusted, out of the road. Worked up to 87.5 kilos, which is log and plates included. With that, 15 to 20 kilos of band tension, whatever it works out to be, given the age of the bands. I will get around to getting some new ones, so that way I know for sure. Or I can just get my hang scale out and double check them. That requires some degree of effort this time of the night, which I'm putting all my effort into training. Moving on to the assistance work now, so it's just a bit of a giant set, hitting some triceps and midsection mainly, with the intent of trying to minimise the power leak I might be getting from my midsection, given that I very rarely train it specifically or do any targeted work. So that's a new one for me, having that in there in whatever form it takes, being rotation or loaded rotation, flexion extension, whatever it might be. That's very much it for tonight anyway. Tomorrow's just, again, Strongman Saturday, all about skill acquisition, having some fun, not about killing myself, having a break from the regimented stuff and enjoying a bit of an off-season to work on those little things and to problem solve, not to have a blurry camera. That's been the problem solving this week, the new technology, having upgraded from a phone. I feel as though it's making a difference, particularly in the quality, with the hope that when I produce other content eventually, need more hours in the day for one, but when I get around to producing other content, it will be of some sort of standard as opposed to filming off a phone.